When you end up being wrong about something, you need to own it. And oh my exiles, was I wrong about the future of Path of Exile 1. We gotta talk about both Path of Exile 2 and PoE 1. There's some wild news here. Grinding Your Games just hosted their showcase and Q&A for PoE 3.28 Mirage League. I expected a smaller scope, something good but tight, as they've been struggling jumping between PoE 1 and PoE 2 for the past year and change. I was so hotly confident in this fact, I also released a video overviewing why I thought Path of Exile 1 would eventually fade in the coming years, still active and receiving numerous updates, but never returning to the glory and golden age it experienced when I began playing all the way back in 2019. I cited a lack of passion within the studio and the inability to shake things up like they could and will be doing with PoE 2. Looking back at the past few years as evidence. I was wrong. Completely wrong. Yeah, I know Mirage League isn't out yet, but after watching the entire reveal and, more importantly, the subsequent interview with Ziggy D, Octavian, and Mark, it's obvious Grinding Your Games have made a decision, the one they'd seemingly been avoiding for a while, and I reckon it'll be the right one and lead, hopefully, to both Path of Exile 1 and Path of Exile 2 prospering long into the future. Let me lay out why clearly. Putting all the crazy new content, sweeping revamps, quality of life additions aside, and just looking at what the game developers decided to finally do is most important here by far and will have huge ramifications for both games, whether you enjoy one, the other, or both like myself. Each title now has a dedicated team of developers and a set of people leading those developers forward, taking true ownership of their respective games. For Path of Exile 1, it's Octavian and Mark. For Path of Exile 2, it wasn't clearly stated, but I'd reckon it's Mark and Jonathan. This little concept right here is so important to the sustained life of each game, and it's something we've probably all experienced and tried to push past in our own lives. We shoot for the stars, try to get the best of both worlds, attempt to juggle too much, and end up letting important things crash to the ground. Okay, maybe this is a bit of a hyperbole, but you get the general point here. I've seen this play out at my workplace, in my personal life, and in friendships, and I'm sure you have too. It's what we've been watching happen with Grinding Your Games, and Mark Roberts said as much to Ziggy D during this Q&A. And just like I've done over and over, stubbornly thinking I'd be able to handle it all and be at peak performance in all aspects of life, only to eventually stumble and realize too much is going on and too many things are suffering for it. I'm not spending enough time with my kids. My mind is elsewhere when I'm eating dinner with my wife. I miss several days at the gym, lose contact with good friends, or I'm too exhausted to get up and go to church on a Sunday morning. You get the picture. Grinding Your Games as a studio has made that same exact voyage, just on a much more public stage than my life or your life over the past year or so with the two games they run. They've decided the most important people at the company cannot do it all, that both their games and communities were suffering too much, so they've helped raise up new X-Factor designers like Octavian and Andrew to lead the charge forward, and importantly, oh so importantly, Octavian, and I'm sure Andrew too, are radiant and passionate about Path of Exile 1, and so is the entire team working on this game now. They yearn to work on it. They have new ideas they'd like to explore. They want to be radical with their changes, to blow things up, and if they don't work and people hate them, so what? They'll remove the bad from the game and try something new. They seem unafraid to fail and change and react with the players who play the game, eager to continue testing and not letting things sit idly by. They're not planning years in advance in the grand scheme of things, it seems. They're planning for right now, the next 2, 3, 4 months, in the moment, reacting to how the players are experiencing the game, looking at the problems the players are having, and engineering solutions they believe are excellent. And if they're not, that's okay. They're ready to try again. This has been missing from Path of Exile 1 for a long time. And honestly, I think it's lacked a little bit in Path of Exile 2, but they've been more keen to make radical changes here. So yeah, I was incorrect about Path of Exile 1's golden age being over. It looks like a renaissance is incoming even if this patch doesn't hit, even though I think it will. Path of Exile 1 is now in the hands of some great, vigorous, idealistic leaders ready to shake things up. And that's amazing. But where does that leave Path of Exile 2? Is this bad for that game, but incredible for Path of Exile 1? The official splitting of teams is superb for PoE 2, I'd reckon. Hopping from PoE 1 to PoE 2 to PoE 1 to PoE 2 and so on and so forth was likely devastating for the people working on the games. Code switching, working on similar but slightly different things, classes named the same but doing totally different things, and the like. It also likely led to the games being less distinct from each other, which is terrible. With this official change, I hope for the best. I hope for more robust Path of Exile 2 updates, for both games to become more unique, for Path of Exile 2 to watch and learn from the mistakes of Path of Exile 1 and vice versa. Succinctly, I think it's a good thing all around, but it's a change I wasn't confident at all in GGG making just a month ago. I'm glad both these games seem to have a gleaming future ahead of them. I love and plan on playing them both. Oh, and on that point, if you believe I hate Path of Exile 1, hope for it to die, actively am trying to kill it, have never played it, have never played Endgame, or something along those lines, you've either been fed lies from some other source looking to tarnish me and my opinions, seen a 10-second clip that was intentionally misrepresented, or you're delusional. Be a free thinker. Change your mind when the facts change, or you learn the facts, and embrace being wrong when you are. Just like I think I was here. If you'd like to hate on me though, hate me for my actual thoughts and actions, like only playing for 50 hours a league and thinking that is a lot of time, desiring far lower mob density and far less zoomy gameplay in Path of Exile 2, stupidly saying spell totem builds were the best spell builds in PoE 1, or loving the Genesis tree in Keepers, or refusing to play bows in Path of Exile 1. All those things are true and valid reasons to hate or critique me. Anyways, I'll be logging in next week for Mirage, going for yet another 36 or 40 challenges and a full armor set. I hope to see some of you there. If you enjoy the content, thank you. Dropping a like, sharing your thoughts in a comment, or subscribing means a lot and helps keep the channel talkative.